city employees sitting on the sidelines. They're currently in litigation with New York City over New York City mayor's enforcement of the vaccine mandate. We recently had an officer who's been accused of alleged murder, where he supposedly went to Jersey and shot a love interest of his, leaving that person as a paraplegic and the other person in a car injured. That person is still a member of the NYPD, receiving due process as they await their criminal trial. A good friend of mine, Marlon Bethel, first generation immigrant, black man, resident of Queens, uh, uh, rose to the rank of intelligence detective in the NYPD and was terminated by New York City Mayor Eric Adams over the vaccine mandate. Uh, there have been plenty of people like him in city employment. He received no due process, was never charged administratively or criminally, did not receive a department trial, and was terminated within 7 days. What if anything would a Scott Stringer administration do to assist people like Marlon Bethel or in Marlon Bethel's situation?
Look, in the midst of COVID, that vaccine was a lifesaver and got the city and the country, probably the world, back on its feet. I lost my mom during COVID,
Sorry.
and I know how many people risked their lives at the hospitals. I still want to meet and thank the EMS workers who took her out of her apartment at great risk at a time when there was no vaccine, my friend, right? And those that were warned and made a choice with their professional lives in the midst of this crisis, um, I think the right decision was made. Now, that doesn't mean that the guy who shoots his love interest or loved one uh, should get off for murder. But I do think when an emergency happened like this, look, I shut down my office. I made sure my people were safe. I was the first city agency to say, let's get people home safe. We don't know where this is going. Some politicians, made $5 million on a book deal because parents like mine lost their lives. And it's a very personal issue to me. But I think overall the decision was made.
Yeah, so for me, I listen. I agree with you. The COVID was a very dangerous time. Sorry about your mother.
No, it's
We all lost people, and it was horrible. But the thing where I stand on it is that it really is a civil rights, labor rights issue. Like the hypocrisy of it is that there are people that have religious refusal. There's people that have medical refusals, and I understand at the height of COVID, we were out there and there were nothing. Police officers, firefighters, sanitation workers. We were out there through the majority of it. That vaccine came in well after,
Mhm.
and 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 so when you look at it, you look at a guy who's alleged to have committed a murder, and the evidence is damning. So you have one guy, and he's working. He gets the department trial. He gets to go through his criminal trial, and you have another guy. He may have a religious refusal for requesting a religious accommodation. You have a female who may have a medical accommodation, and they received no due process whatsoever, just completely terminated, which violates labor contract. And there's actually litigation saying under a Garvey case, where which is a sanitation case, saying that they should all be compensated and reinstated of 3 years ago. So that, to me, that's the issue. It's the civil rights and the labor rights. It's not an argument of what the vaccine did or didn't do. It's just an argument of, our New York City workers entitled to due process. And what I'm hearing is one guy is and another person isn't, depending on the situation. And I think more highly of New York City than that. I think decisions were made, and I don't think they were perfect.
No,
But
no. By the way, I'm sure. Look, I was there. I was controller. I had to deal with De Blasio every day on these issues. We saw a lot of this. Look, as I said to everybody, obviously there is pending litigation. I will certainly, if I'm successful, hear what everyone says. But I'm just giving you honestly direct answer.
no, I appreciate that. Yeah,
My gut,
absolutely.
my gut tells me that was a very bad time. And I know time heals all wounds, but when there's an emergency, there's certain things you gotta do if you
Okay,
can.
I got you.